soon as
All
I
right,
see it live, I will get this bad boy promoted.
sounds good. And we should be
All
live
right.
right now. I don't know how long YouTube takes to show it though.
Yeah, I see it.
All
Um,
right, sweet.
Code of. All right. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize it was playing on it was playing on my thing. Oops. All right.
All right, you got it.
Let me just do this on Discord real quick.
Okay.
All right. I think we're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, I see it in the club, and I just got a notification on Discord. So there we go.
Oh yeah, let me open chat as well. We gotta keep tabs. But yeah,
Our
I think
super
we're
fan
good
is
to
already
go.
here, so we gotta get on it.
Yeah, we gotta get on it. Almost forgot about this. Well, I'm glad you did. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to another episode of Football for Fun off-season edition. I am Depressed the Texans fan.
I'm delusional, the Panthers fan. Welcome on in, everybody.
Welcome. Hope you're having a good Friday. You're anticipating a wonderful weekend. Um, The free agency news has been at a minimum, since we last recorded. Obviously, all the big names, have either been, well, maybe not all the big names, but most of the big names have either been traded or signed or whatever. There are still a few that remain, but right before we got on, we got the news that the intriguing player, Cooper Kupp, not only signed well, okay, sorry, I worded that poorly. But he signed with the Seahawks, and it got extended 3 years, 45 million. Right? Is that
That's
correct?
correct. So 15 million a year. I don't know all
Right.
the details, but he got the money that he wanted to go to a divisional rival.
Yep. And back home, where I think he grew up in Washington. Right?
Yeah, that's what the reports have said. It's back home, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's really just about the money, though. No one else was going to pay him the 15 million a year, which I kind of question. I mean, he's worth that for your wide receiver two spot. Seattle got a steal here. He's going to be the second best receiver on the team, and he's only getting paid 15 million a year. He'll take that. This is a great move by Seattle, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's not bad. I mean, you still have JSN on a rookie contract, and they also have Sam Darnold, which maybe this kind of, I don't want to say like justifies like it was ever really questioned, but if you had questions about Sam Darnold's fit in Seattle, well, he's gonna have JSN and Cooper Kupp to work with, as well as like Kenneth Walker. They still have Charbonnet, right?
Yeah, they got
They have
Charbonnet
Walker,
at running back too. I don't know who their tight end is now, but they'll figure it out. But
right?
they've got the pieces on
Yeah,
offense, so Sam should be fine there as long as the offensive line can protect him. Which I don't know how good the offensive line is in Seattle, but still time to address that.
yeah, for sure. No, I think that whole Seattle unit, like, they could be a pretty good team. Like, I'm not sure if we're gonna go like 15 into one seed or anything like that, but I said we. I wasn't saying like I'm a
Yeah,
Seahawks fan. I was
you're a
saying
Seahawk
like
fan now.
I was
You
speaking.
gave up on Houston.
I'm saying on behalf of the Seahawks, I guess is what I was trying to do. But I'm not sure that they're going 15 into one seed or anything like that. Yeah, that would be the ultimate bandwagon move. Like, just like they get these cool free agents, like suddenly I'm a Seahawks. Although I don't know, because it's not like they've been like great as of recent, but it would be an interesting pivot.
Yeah, they've
But
been pretty mediocre, I would say. And I'm not. I've seen a lot of people saying they're going to be terrible next season. I think we talked about that last time, and we're both thinking it's probably not going to be the case. They've got enough talent to be competitive and win some games, like maybe 6, 7, 8 wins, something like that. Adding in Cooper Cup might push that closer to the 8, 9, or 10 win range. I think they could be competing in their division for sure.
yes, definitely. A division where the Niners are not only coming off a tough season, but lost like half their team to free agency. If the Rams will be tough. But and then there's the Cardinals, who are always feisty, I feel like, but I don't really see them as a
Yeah,
big
they
threat to
have
win the.
not made enough improvements to really break through. I don't believe.
Uh-huh.
Um, Adding
Right.
Josh Sweat to that defense should help, and maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. will improve on his rookie season, which we should probably expect that. But I don't think they're going to be. I feel like all of those teams in that division, they have a decent chance to win it. It just kind of depends on how much their young players improve.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you never know. The Niners could just be back to their like glory days. The Cardinals. I feel like the Cardinals mainly. It's like Kyler Murray. Like he's not all the problem, but it's also like you'd rather him just be a bona fide like top 10 starter than some weeks he's like a top 3, but other weeks he's like 30th or something like
Yeah,
that. Like I feel
he's
like there's just
too
so much
inconsistent there, right?
inconsistency. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I think, yeah, but no, I think the whole point about the division, like, and I know it's like, off season, overreact season, everything like that. I'd still probably pick the Rams for sure, but the Seahawks could be up there. I mean, if Sam Darnold plays like he played in Minnesota, minus those 2 games, that week 18 and the wild card,
Yeah,
I think that they
he's
have
shown he
something
can lead an
special going on.
offense. I don't.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said he's shown that he can lead the offense, and I think the Seattle
Yes.
defense should be pretty decent as well. They've got a very good secondary, or at least they've got a very talented secondary. Um, I don't know who I would
Yes.
pick as of now. I'm not sure I would pick the Rams just because I would assume they're going to have a much more difficult schedule since they won the division last season, and in a division that's so tightly contested, it might pay to have an easier schedule. So who got last place in that division last season? I don't even remember. Whoever it was,
Cardinals,
they might have a good chance. Cardinals, maybe might have been them,
yeah, I think it was Rams,
and then
Seahawks,
Seattle.
or was it the Niners?
I
The
think I think
Niners
it
get
was
last?
Seattle because they had a chance to win it in the last week. Well, in the last 2 weeks, tiebreakers kind of made it to where they couldn't have won it the last week, but they were in the
Okay,
discussion.
okay, I love that I Google NFC West standings. It doesn't immediately show up. Okay, I had to add the year. The 49ers were last place at 6-11. Cardinals were at 8-9. Seahawks were at 10-7. Seahawks and Rams were tied at 10-7.
So the
So
49ers are going to get a last place schedule.
yes.
Okay. Well, like we've
Let's
been
see.
saying, we got to be careful with them. Maybe don't write them off yet. They're still going to be talented on offense.
You know what? This could be a fun exercise, actually. And like this is good to do if we don't have much off-season content to do, which would be look at kind of their like schedule, not like schedule, but like opponents for the 49ers.
mhm.
So let's do this quick exercise and we'll see if this is like fun or just awkward. Pretend you're the 49ers and I'm just gonna name a team. There's a set of home teams, set of away teams, and just tell me like gut instinct. Do you think that's a win or a loss? Does that sound
Okay.
good?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so so these are home games. So you're hosting Arizona.
Ah, jeez. I think they split with Arizona.
Okay, so we'll just say win, then we'll say loss later. So let's do the division actually. That'll make things easier. So split with Arizona. What about the Rams?
Uh, probably split there too.
Fair enough. Seahawks,
Has Seattle beaten
another
them
split.
recently?
I don't know. Probably
I feel like
not.
the Niners always beat them. It's. I'll say this is the year they split there
Yeah.
too. I'm just gonna give them a split in
Okay.
each of those. So
Perfect.
3-3 in
Three
the
and three.
division.
Okay. So we're going back to home games. Atlanta.
Yeah, they beat Atlanta.
Okay, so that's 4-3. Carolina.
Oh shoot, do they play us next year? I don't like that.
Yes, y'all go to San Francisco this
I don't
year.
want to go to San Francisco. Um, I don't know how to predict my. I'm gonna pass on that because I can't objectively predict my own team right now.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take I mean,
You go
we
for it.
were at 3-3. I'm just trying to make track. So 4-3. I mean, Carolina. Um,
On their depleted defense, I feel like we should be able to move the ball. We should be able to run it at least with our two 1,000-yard running backs.
Right. It's in San Francisco though, which makes it kind of scary. Actually, holy crap, there are a lot of bad teams. We'll get to those. Let's just say to like balance it out, and there'll be some like random upsets. We'll say Carolina wins.
I'll take it. All right, 4-4.
Okay, so we're at 3-3, 4-3, 4-4. Okay, Jags.
They beat the Jags. Yeah,
Yep, 5-4. Titans.
they beat the Titans.
6-4. Bears.
Oh wow. I'm gonna give that one to the Bears.
Okay, sorry. What are we at? I'm losing track. Six and what?
I think that should be
Wait.
6-5. It was 4-4. They beat the
Six and
two
five
AFC
sounds
South
right.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah, it was at we're at 3-3 for the division. Beat Falcons, lost to Panthers, then 5-6. Yeah, 6-5 is right. Okay. So we're at 6-5.
Mm.
Now these are away teams. So the San Francisco 49ers going to Cleveland.
Oh, they should beat Cleveland.
Yeah. So that would make 7-5. Houston.
I'll give that one to you guys. Houston wins.
Okay. It'll be tough though. It'll be
Yeah,
a tough game for sure, especially if it's like earlier in the season, but
I would expect you
that's
guys to be the
fine.
more complete team though, so I'll give it to you guys.
Right. We're at 7-6, right?
I think so.
All right, Colts.
They'll beat the Colts.
They'll
It
beat
won't
the
matter that
Colts.
their defense is depleted when the opposing quarterback is
All right.
either Danny Dimes or Anthony Richardson.
Okay, so 8-6, right?
8-6.
I'm just gonna say 9-6 because we know how we'll feel about the Niners versus Saints. What about Giants?
Yeah, they'll beat the Giants.
10-6, and then Bucks.
The Bucks win. So 10-7 for San Francisco.
7. Seems fair.
They had their defense
My only
depleted
thing,
in one more
yeah,
games. We'll take that.
right. Sorry, I just saw Devin. I think he's here just in time for this random Bucks prediction. So, Devin, woohoo, we picked the Bucks to beat
Oh,
the.
he can't hear
Oh,
us, but he wants to know who signed Cup.
um, yeah, okay, cool. Well, he can't hear us, so that information. Okay, so my thing about the my only thing, I think that's actually pretty good, and I think you did raise a good point that like they have a last place schedule. They're playing a lot of garbage teams. I would think like they're gonna lose to one of these awful teams, just randomly. I don't even have a reason. They might lose to the Saints or the Giants or something like that. But even then, like 9-8, I think it's very reasonable. 8-9 would not be shocking. 8-9 would be an
Yeah,
improvement, which is kind of weird to say, but 8, 9, 10 wins, I think that's a pretty reasonable range.
yeah, I would say so. Um, yeah, I think having the
Yeah,
last place schedule really does make a difference, but we could be wrong. Maybe they
yeah,
just are
for
really
sure.
terrible because of how depleted their defense is. That could be the case, but I don't know. We also still have the draft, and
Right.
you can assume they're gonna add some talent in the draft on defense. Um, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm still here. I know I'm off camera, but it's for a very important reason because we have a very important uh look, we have a very important chatter. We call it fan, whatever.
Really, we do. It's
All
awful.
right.
I can't believe you own that. It's terrible. Terrible. It should burn.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better than the
Now I'm
Saints.
just watching myself show it off on the I have it like playing on my phone as well, so I'm just like,
That's
hey,
great.
there we go, there we go. All right, so anyway, so yeah, that probably will be. I mean, wasn't the NFC West for the longest time like a very tight race, like for the division? Or am I
Yeah, up until
misremembering
the
that?
very end of the season, really.
Yeah, for sure. So that could be the case again. I mean, maybe besides like Arizona, like you don't really see like one team like better or worse than like the other. Um, I don't know.
I don't see any
I don't know
great
actually.
teams. That's how I'm gonna put it. I don't see any great teams in that division. I don't see any of those teams going to win a Super Bowl. I know the Rams had a good season last year and then won a playoff game, but I'm not really I'm not really buying into it. It's just I don't get
Yeah,
it.
one other thing you could like say to kind of play devil's advocate to myself is that Matthew Stafford, I guess he's only what 37. I Matthew Stafford. See, I saw 37, but I'm always wondering like, do they turn 37 or sorry 38 during the season? But he just turned 37, so
Okay.
he could have a fall off. I don't know if it would be this year because you're kind of seeing this trend of like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. They just like stop functioning at some point, or like like not that's insulting, but like you
Yeah.
know they really
Yeah, that way
flop.
of phrasing it. They stop functioning.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Roethlisberger. Like
I think it's
Tom
coming for
Brady.
Stafford.
I
I
think
thought that he was having a down year last season, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I don't know, like statistically, I think he was okay.
Yeah.
Just based on the eye test.
No, he was okay.
28, he was okay. But you could see like a downfall, like, it wouldn't be like inconceivable if he's just like washed and then it's just like I mean the Rams don't really have like anything else at quarterback. So
I mean, there's a reason they
you
were
know,
trying to get other quarterbacks to come play for them. I mean, they were shopping Stafford. I don't know if it was because he wanted out or because they wanted to upgrade, but I think they were rumored to be looking into Aaron Rodgers at one point. I think Sam Darnold was
right.
rumored to go there at some point. It was just, you know,
Yeah, for
there were
sure.
definitely rumors, and they could upgrade at Stafford. I think right now there's a good chance he's going to be the fourth best quarterback in that division.
Fourth best. Okay, let
I
me
don't know if
process
I
that.
would actually say that,
So,
but I think there's a good chance that's what we're looking at next year.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know.
If
I
we
don't
base it
think
on
it's an
last season, if
outrageous
we base it on
take.
last season, Sam Darnold was better, right? And I
So
know
Sam Darnold was
that could
better.
change.
I just don't think like Brock Purdy or Kyler Murray are better.
See,
Like
I'll
just
disagree on
just
Brock
this
Purdy.
season.
I like Purdy. Kyler is where I'm not sure. He's just too inconsistent to really rank him, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't Brock Purdy also not that good last season? You're making the
I think he
based on
probably
last
was a
season
little
argument.
worse statistically. um, I thought he was still solid though.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like and there's like a difference like this year right here right now. Like obviously like if this is like 4 or 5 years down the road, like or like a long-term thing
Yeah,
I'd want Brock Purdy and Kyler Murray, but like right here right now, like I still think Matthew Stafford's like pretty good. But also you just never know. Like this is football for fun. I'm not some like certified analyst with these like qualifications to tell you like what Matthew Stafford and Brock Purdy's strengths and weaknesses are, but no, you won a playoff game. I thought he played pretty well.
yeah. No, but
Oh,
and it's tough to
good,
judge.
good.
It really is because I feel like Stafford's gonna regress a little more. Maybe not, be terrible, but he's gonna keep regressing. And I think Purdy's gonna be better than he was last season. I think the constant injuries around him probably did have an effect on his output. Um, I don't know.
Right.
I'm a Purdy believer, and Stafford. I like Stafford. I'm a Stafford fan, but I don't. I think his
Yeah.
days are
No, that's
definitely.
fair. Those are
He's at
fair
the end of his
takes.
career.
Probably a good transition point. We can talk about, call a little audible on the whole free agency discussion. Where do Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson go?
Oh man.
And Jameis Winston, which I just randomly said because I don't know. He's Jameis Winston didn't sign yet, right? Or did he?
Yeah, he's still a free agent. I have not heard anything about Jameis Winston. I've
Apparently,
heard
he's
more about Joe
linked to the
Flacco
Steelers.
than Jameis.
Right. I heard Joe Flacco linked. Who did I hear him linked to?
The Giants, I believe. That's what I heard anyway.
I think it was the Giants. I thought there was another. Okay, yeah, it was probably Giants, but maybe
So
it's
we
the
know.
Browns. I heard. I don't
Oh
know, but
yeah,
anyway, yeah.
the Browns probably would be wise to bring him back too. But it's the Browns, it's the Giants, and it's the Steelers who are all looking at quarterbacks right now. And I think
Right.
the Vikings are also supposedly in the discussion for Aaron Rodgers, which is a holdup because I don't know. I read a report earlier, and it was from a good source. I don't remember which source it was, but it's a good source that he's waiting to see what the Vikings will do, and that would indicate that he wants to go play in Minnesota. And again, these are just reports. They could be way off. No one really knows what goes on in the mind of Aaron Rodgers.
Sorry. You're saying Rodgers is waiting on the Vikings, what they're going to do?
Yeah, that's what I read earlier. So he's waiting to see what the Vikings do, and if they decide they don't want him,
So like,
which they probably should, but
oh, so like, are they like if they make an offer or not?
yeah, he's waiting to see if the
Oh, okay,
Vikings want him.
I see what you're
And
saying. Yeah,
yeah, let me see if I can find what it said.
yeah, that kind of makes sense because if I'm Rodgers, I might, like, I'm not really in a rush necessarily. I know he's getting like criticized, especially by Adam Schefter for like just holding everyone up, but I don't know. I
It's his
mean,
right to take his time, right?
Yeah, I'm Aaron Rodgers. Teams want me. Like clearly, like the Steelers, maybe the Vikings. Who else? The Giants
The
are pretty much the
Giants,
teams.
yeah.
Like he's not going to Cleveland. Like no, there's no way, right?
I can't imagine he goes to Cleveland. I think if the Vikings don't make him an offer like he seems to want, he's gonna end up in Pittsburgh because they want him. And I would
Right.
imagine they're the next best team for him to go to for sure. I don't think he wants to go be a Giant. Um,
Yeah, not the Giants, not the Browns,
no.
not the Titans. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's
My
there's a reason
guess,
these like awful teams need quarterbacks.
yeah, my guess is that he's gonna end up being a Steeler, and then Russ is gonna end up being a Giant. I don't, I can't imagine he would want to go to Cleveland when New York is a
Yeah,
place he probably
I
gets
feel
to
like
start.
yeah, in New York, you at least have Malik Neighbors. You can make the argument that like Brian Dabble could be a good like offensive coach at times.
Hmm.
Um,
But again,
but
Cleveland
yeah,
has a
I
much
mean,
better coach in Stefanski. At least we're supposed to think that anyway.
oh yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I just think Cleveland's. I mean, they're both dumpster fires, but it feels like especially Cleveland's a dumpster
That's
fire.
because they've been more
Imagine
historically a dumpster fire. New York has at least won a couple Super Bowls.
you have a QB room, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and then with they'd still draft someone,
I
right?
think they're drafting
Like,
Shador too.
or what a room that would be. Like, not really in a good way necessarily, because yeah, Russell and Kenny Pickett were in the QB room together in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, right? Yeah, Pittsburgh. Am
Were they
I
ever there
having
together?
some functioning? Yeah, because Kenny Pickett. No, 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 no. Kenny Pickett. I think he left.
Because they traded him to the
Sorry.
Eagles when they were signing Russ. So I don't know if there was ever an overlap or not.
Okay, so I think yeah, there was a story that like Kenny Pickett like didn't want to compete with Russell Wilson, so he got traded. I guess he requested or something. So they reunite. Um, you have
That was
Deshaun, who
probably
no
a
one
foolish move on his
likes.
part.
Yeah, right. Because like yeah, I
I mean, he went
agree.
to the
But you have
Eagles.
the
What was he
Deshaun.
gonna do there?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to compete. Fine, then you can just not compete in
Yeah,
Philly.
there's no
Like,
competition. You're QB2 here.
right. Yes, and then you get exiled to Cleveland. At least he's the starter as of now.
What's funny is if they had kept him and then they hadn't gone for Justin Fields, he would have ended up starting the first 4 games or so.
That's
Maybe it was more
true.
than 4, but he would have been the starter if he stayed there and they didn't go get
Right.
Fields. So that
Yeah,
he
I
probably should have
mean,
stayed.
probably should have. I mean, Pittsburgh's a winning organization. I guess to be fair, Philly is too, and he got a ring, I
Yeah,
guess, which
he's
is
a Super
good,
Bowl
but
champion now.
he is indeed, yes. But now, he is the Cleveland Browns quarterback. With the likes of like Johnny Manziel, Brian Hoyer, like yeah,
Yeah, not
not
exactly
not not
names you
not
want to be associated with.
right. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I think Rodgers signs with not the Giants, the Steelers too, and then Russell. I think the Giants does make a lot more sense because
Yeah,
at least
I
like
think so.
you could even make the argument like if there was like some tiebreaker, like the lifestyle in New York would be way more intriguing than Cleveland. Like, You
Well,
need a
does
really
he
good
want all
reason.
the media hate there? Because he would. I mean, he
In New
gets a lot of
York?
hate wherever he goes, and it's going to be much worse in New York.
I don't know. I feel like he would. I feel like he would like overcome it. Like I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just like suck that up than go to Cleveland.
I mean, he feels like he's not really a fit in Cleveland at all. I also, why would you want to go to Cleveland if you can go throw to Malik Neighbors in New York?
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
What's funny? I don't know if you would remember this because it's all like reports, so it's never like. But like Russell Wilson, like in his prime, has been linked to both the Giants and the Browns. Because remember, like there's this like whole thing of like Russell Wilson was really good, but for whatever reason, the Seahawks or they had some like disagreement. So like I think the Browns, I don't know if it was an official offer. I think the Browns offered the number one pick that they used for on Baker Mayfield for Russell Wilson. Maybe it was the other way around. There was some offer having to do with that pick for him. And I
Yeah,
remember
I
around
don't
that time he
remember
was.
this. I believe it, but I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's
it.
actually a story. You should look it up. But like it
Okay.
was like I don't even know like the nature. Obviously Russell Wilson's a little bit of a weird guy. I think maybe they had some like disagreements or something. It's kind of like you remember how like let Russ cook was a thing.
Oh, it's always a thing.
Well, I think it is a thing kind of because of that, because they felt like Pete Carroll's like running game was like restricting him.
Oh,
So,
okay.
that was kind of the thing. So, but I don't know. That's just like obviously like never happened. It's just all hypotheticals, but it's kind
And
of funny
now
that
it's looking like
Russ,
it is gonna happen at last.
yeah, like a few years too late potentially.
Yeah, this is probably his last year as a starter in the league, if we're being realistic. So, or I don't think he'll even get a full season. He's gonna if he's going to Cleveland or New York. I think both of those teams enter the season with rookie quarterbacks, and I think that the fans are gonna after he starts slow, they're gonna want the rookie to come in and actually see what he's got. So I don't think he even gets a full season or maybe even half a season.
Is it like, yeah, is it like kind of, would it be like dumb? I guess you could say for either one, but maybe like Aaron would have more pressure to like sign me. But what if you just wait until there's some like catastrophic injury? Not like you're hoping for it, obviously, but just wait a little bit, OTAs, see if someone gets hurt in like training camp. Because if if God forbid, like CJ Stroud just tore his Achilles or something in training camp, then it would suck. I'd rather go Russell Wilson than Davis Mills.
Yeah, that could be a strategy. I don't know. I don't know
The
if they would want to
downside would
wait
be
that
though, like,
long.
yeah, the downside is if nothing happens, then it's just like,
Yeah, because we
what are
had
you
this
doing?
we had this with Ryan Tannehill. I think it was last offseason or maybe the year prior, where everyone was saying,
That's
okay,
right.
he's still out there. He's just gonna wait for a good quarterback to go down, and it just never seemed to happen. Or at least when a quarterback went down, no one seemed to want him. I know Ryan Tannehill is not Aaron
Ryan
Rodgers or
Tannehill,
Russell
yeah, that's
Wilson.
a name I've not thought of in a while. Is he? He's not retired, is he?
I don't think he's officially retired, but also no one's talking about him. So I would assume that he's just done.
36, just done. Yeah, I think sometimes players do that. They don't officially retire, but they're just like free agents. But yeah, no, that's kind of the downside, especially for someone like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers' stature. Probably not worth it. Maybe that could be like, and another name that we haven't even talked about today, Kirk Cousins. I know he's not a
Oh
free
yeah.
agent, but I wonder if, that could be a situation for him where it's like, he doesn't get traded until, it could even be like during the season,
It
maybe. Like
probably
if a
is.
team, like,
They don't seem to want to release him. So they probably are waiting for
yeah,
a trade partner, and why would any team want to trade for him when they can sign Rodgers or Russ for much cheaper? Plus, he's got that injury he's
right.
coming off of. So that's a good point. I would expect him to probably be moved after the draft. We'll see which team is left without a quarterback, and then they're the team that has to go for Kirk Cousins.
Right. So funny. It's gonna be a game of like musical chairs, and like one team won't have a quarterback or something like that.
Yeah, because
Um,
there are only two
but,
good quarterbacks who should go in the first round. At least that's what we're told. And Shador Sanders and
right.
Cam Ward. And the first three teams picking all need a quarterback. So
Mm-hmm.
someone's gonna be the
That's
unlucky
true.
team there. Either it's gonna be the Giants or they're gonna
Yeah.
trade up, and the Titans are gonna just suffer for a year.
Right. Yep. For sure. For sure. All very intriguing stuff. It's so funny how there's like this big rush, and then it's just like not much is going on. I mean, there's also the backup quarterbacks we talk about, like Mac Jones to the Niners, Danny Dimes to the Colts, which is kind of intriguing because you think maybe there's a competition, but
Oh, there's definitely
Gardner,
competition. Indy
yeah,
definitely has a competition there. Someone said, I think it was Benchwarmer Brand. This is like the funniest ultimatum out there. Either you beat Daniel Jones or you're not starting for us.
yeah, right.
That's
Actually,
basically
yeah,
what they're saying.
imagine what that would do to like Anthony Richardson's confidence. Like you're the third or whatever overall pick. You have a couple of like up and down seasons, then you lose the starting job to Daniel Jones. Like that's actually and like Daniel Jones has started like 70 games already or something, right? He'd get more starts. That's actually insane.
That's not something that should be allowed to happen, and yet it's probably gonna
Biggest
happen.
con artist in NFL history. I don't know, but
He's
yeah,
got the
Daniel
best
Jones,
agent of all time. Let's be real.
what a career. Yeah, him, Kirk Cousins, like they have like elite agents.
It's probably the same guy, honestly.
Actually, I'm curious now.
Now we need to
Agent.
know.
Uh it says I guess it's eight. Who is Daniel Jones' agent? It doesn't really say.
Yeah, is that
Ryan
information usually
Murphy,
public?
Cameron Hahn, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, there's an article. Who is that's weird. Mike McCartney. So okay, so they don't, but that's still fun. But yeah, imagine. I mean, hey, Texans fan, Danny Dimes, you got this. I mean, I'd be fine with either outcome, but at
You
least I
would
feel like
rather
with
you
like
would rather Danny Dimes wins or ends up starting because that means Anthony Richardson didn't break out.
right, yeah, exactly. I would love to play Danny Dimes if I'm the Texans.
I mean, I think most teams would agree with that. So there you go. That'll be a fun quarterback battle to watch over this offseason. Um,
For
for
sure.
Richardson's sake, I hope he wins because it would be really sad if you lose that. But I mean,
Yeah,
is what
I
it
think
is.
Richardson will win it. I honestly I could be on an island here. I don't know that the competition is really as close as like fans make it out to be, fans and media. I think like they're probably just bringing Daniel Jones as like probably the backup and like could be a situation where like if they need to bench Anthony Richardson or he gets like tired in the middle of the game or something and they could just pull Daniel Jones in. But it's intriguing for sure. It's definitely interesting.
I mean, based on
I think
last
there's a
season, I think it should be a competition just based on how poorly he played last season. But I also think that they
yeah,
need to start him this year, at least at the beginning of the season, just to see if he can make any steps of improvement. Because you got to they drafted him knowing he was going to be a developmental project, so they had to know this is going to take a few years before you really see anything. And year three, this is
right.
about when you would expect to see some results. So they kind of have to start him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, you gotta get all your starts out. Um something another, signing that's not resulting in a QB competition. Gardner Minshew to the Chiefs. I mean, I don't really know if there's any thoughts
I
other than
mean,
like
good for the Chiefs getting one of the better possible backup quarterbacks in the league, and also a big
okay,
personality.
there were I saw the Instagram comments that were literally like, "Who's gonna wear 15 now?" Like,
I think
come
Mahomes
on,
is
are
gonna
you
wear
serious?
15, guys.
Like Mahomes would change his number for Gardner Minshew.
I
Like,
don't know, man. Gardner is
Gardner's
just that
gonna
cool. I could see it.
yeah, all right. Imagine Mahomes just like rents his number for a year, and then Gardner, after he leaves, he just gets it, takes it back. But no, Gardner will wear like 8 or something like that. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I feel like 8. I feel like he's gonna wear 8. I don't know why.
Well, that's gonna be funny if you're right. I have
That
no
would be
idea what number
funny.
he's gonna wear. Just not 15.
Right. It will not be 15. Mac Jones to the not the Steelers. Mac Jones to the 49ers. You know,
I mean,
draft class reunion, I get. No, no, no. Trey Lance is not there. Duh. But like, I
yeah,
don't know.
it's I mean, Shanahan got the
Like,
guy he reportedly wanted in that draft class just after he failed as an NFL starter. Probably a decent backup,
right.
I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I think
that's
Mac
gonna be
Jones is
nothing.
like he's all around solid backup. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think you just don't want him starting ideally, but like
no, yeah. If you could do
I'd
worse as a
probably
for a backup quarterback for sure.
I'd take Mac Jones over Davis Mills.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
definitely fair. I
I
mean,
mean, I wouldn't want either starting, but it's
Mac's got
okay.
more talent,
Um,
so there you go.
yeah, I think Max just has he's had better like career numbers and stuff. But all right, what else? I guess Texans trade for CJ Gardner Johnson since we last talked.
Oh yeah, you guys have a really good secondary now, don't you?
Yeah, we got Petrie and CJ at safeties, and then we got our duo of Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. I mean, I always question when it's like we only had to trade like Kenyon Green for CJ Gardner Johnson. That tells me something's a little bit off because he's only like 27 or something, and like it felt like not long ago he was just one of the best safeties in the world or in the league. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe he's just regressing a little bit, a little older, expensive, something like that. But
He
I'm
came from
glad to have.
Philly, right?
I guess. What's that?
He came from Philadelphia, didn't he?
Yes, he came from Philadelphia. So he was originally did he get drafted by Philly? I actually don't remember.
Oh,
But
I don't know. I know he's played for several different teams though.
yeah, I thought he was a Saint. That's right. I thought there
That
was a
sounds
team
right.
earlier. He got drafted by New Orleans. He was an Eagle in 20. Actually, I actually didn't realize that. So he only spent 3 years in New Orleans. I guess he got traded to Philly, or I don't know what happened, but they got traded to Philly, and then got traded or signed with Detroit, and
Yeah,
then
he
went
signed
back to
there.
Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, you would think like he's intriguing because like I thought he was like pretty good, but you would think a safety who is that good would just be with the same team or maybe change teams once since like he got drafted in
It
2019.
could just be
Like,
them saving some money because they've got a lot of big names that they have to pay over the years, and oh goodness they let a lot of guys go from their defense this offseason in free agency, like Milton Williams and Josh Sweat,
uh,
and uh, they gotta they gotta be really careful because they have guys that are gonna have to pay tons of money to, like Jalen Carter in a couple years or whenever that's gonna be. At some point, I'm sure Jalen Hurts is going to want more money. They got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to worry about. They keep giving Saquon more money. It looks like um, they're trying to be
right.
very mindful of that so they can keep their main roster intact for as long as possible. So that could be what they're thinking with getting rid of Gardner Johnson. They're just saving some money, and I'm sure they've got some. They've got a lot of talent in their secondary too, don't they? I know they've got Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean at corner,
Yeah, that sounds right.
and
That's
Reed
crazy because like
Blankenship
not
at
long
safety.
ago it was like sorry.
I just said Reed Blankenship at safety.
I think so. That's funny because like not long ago, their corners were like Darius Slay and James Bradbury, and now it's just a completely new unit. Um, but
Probably better too.
yeah,
They've done a very good job with that.
yeah, for
The
sure. No,
NFL
it
letting
feels
them
like
get both those corners last year was kind of ridiculous.
right. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, that's great. Actually, that kind of reminds me when you're talking about money. Like I think we forgot to like kind of bring it up. Is that there's a report that like the Bengals are about to sign both Jamar Chase and T Higgins.
I hope it's
Is that legit?
inaccurate. I mean, I've seen it from guys like Rapp and Schefter, so it's probably legit that they're getting closer. Um,
Probably in
I
that
don't know.
order. Rapp and Schefter, get it?
Yeah, Rapp was obviously first. I don't actually know
Right.
who I saw it from first, but I saw it from credible sources, and I don't know what exactly it means. I feel pretty sure they're gonna extend Jamar. There's no doubt. Like we've talked about that. That's the guy you can't let him leave. Um,
Right.
T Higgins is the one we've had to be more curious about. I know literally all of Panthers Twitter has been going crazy, manifesting trade rumors that he's gonna be a Panther, and I'm just like, guys, it's not happening. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, right.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably they're probably gonna keep both those guys. They've got the same agent, and rumor has it that if one of them leaves, they're both leaving, and Cincinnati's not letting that happen. So, and Joe Burrow is not gonna want that to happen. He wants both his guys back. So, I buy into that. The deals are gonna get done. Neither player's gonna get traded or anything.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder like where like relative to like wide receiver market where like T Higgins would be paid. Like is he going to be like top
I think
10
well
in like
he should be paid more than DK Metcalf. I'll say that. I've been watching this for a while because, like I said, Panthers Twitter is going crazy over trade rumors that they made up. So
right.
I think he's getting at least 30 million per year, and I think that he
Yeah,
deserves it.
30
He's
million.
been better than DK Metcalf the past few years, I believe. When he's been healthy. Um, yeah, I would guess
Yeah,
around 30
what
million, and I think Jamar's going to get a little above 40 million because he has to make more than Miles Garrett to be the highest non-paid quarterback in the league.
right. Like 40.1 or whatever that
Non,
number's going to be, right.
I said that wrong, but you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Why do the Bengals feel the need to keep T Higgins just generally? Like
That's a good question.
I I don't know. Hi, what's up? How's it going? Black hole, right? I think that's you, Sudoku. I've
Oh yeah, that's it.
I've
Hi.
associated those names before. Yeah. Um. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what's this love affair with T Higgins? Like, I feel like you just go all in on Jamar and then just like sayonara, T. Like, good luck
I
in
mean, T
Carolina
Higgins
or
is
whatever. But
great, and he would be a wide receiver one on a lot of teams. Um, but they could replace him when they've got a guy like Jamar. They would be able to trade him and use the capital to get even more assets for the team.
yeah, and like obviously you're not gonna like get yeah, I know they could develop someone. You're not gonna get someone nearly as good as T Higgins, but yeah, they could develop, draft whatever they need to do. And like I feel like just Jamar Chase, like I guess maybe what they're thinking is that like teams just have to like account for like both of them, and now they could like double Jamar. I mean, however,
I mean,
they
hey, you
they
saw their offense last season, right? It was kind of ridiculous.
oh, it
Um,
was ridiculous. Yeah,
it's just that it doesn't matter when they don't have a defense, which we also saw last season. So you would
right,
think they'd have
for
some kind
sure.
of plan on defense, but it's looking like it's going to be the same team next year, pretty much.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, can't wait for, Bengals versus like Ravens, like 54-45 shootout or whatever the heck
Hey,
it's
look,
gonna
those
be,
games were
right?
great last season. Those were probably two. Both of their games were among the best all season. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Who needs a defense?
No, Jamar Chase had some insane games. I had him in my fantasy for my work league, and he had some crazy games.
Yeah, he
Like
was ridiculous against the
I think
Baltimore
multiple games
secondary,
with like over
especially.
50 points. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully the Bengals can like figure it out. Because they're always a really, when they're a good team, they're always really fun to watch. And then when they make the playoffs and things like that. But no, we'll see.
We'll see what happens on defense. They're letting their best player seek a trade, although their asking price is reportedly ridiculous, is what people have said. So I don't know how soon that's going to happen.
Wait,
Um,
sorry. Did you say Bengals are laying they're laying Jamar
yeah,
Chase seek a trade?
no, their
Oh, I
best
didn't.
defensive player,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
Hendrickson.
What's his Dixon? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're letting him
So
seek a trade, and not really any news on that. But we can assume their defense is not going to be any good if they're letting
I
their
did
best player
forget
go.
about that. So we did talk about that, like our first or second episode, Trey Hendrickson like landing spots. I guess that just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, there haven't been really any rumors. Nothing credible anyway. Obviously, I've seen
Right.
Panthers fan be like, "Hey, yeah, we're in the running here. We can get Trey Hendrickson." I don't even want him honestly. He's based on the asking price that Cincinnati wants. Like they want to, I think they want a first round pick, and you have to pay the guy. But the guy's 30 years old. I know he's got a few years left in him for sure, but it's not like he's in his prime. He's at the end of it.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. We'll see what happens there.
We will. I think I think it'd be great if they don't figure it out though, and they just trade Jamar Chase somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder.
They could trade
Right.
Jamar and T to the same team, honestly, since they want to stay together.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
What a
a team with
trade
a young
pack.
quarterback. What?
Yeah, right.
That would be kind of
What if
wild
you.
though, if you saw both of those guys move to the same team.
Right. That would be crazy. I don't know how teams would be able to do that, but
They'd have to have a
yeah.
lot of money and a lot of compensation to give up.
Yep, a lot of money, a lot of compensation.
If that were to happen, the Patriots would probably be the team since they've got a lot of money.
Right. And suddenly you have Drake May throwing to Jamar and oh my gosh, that would be
Instantly a playoff
such
team. Not gonna lie.
probably, yes. Sox would go crazy.
I think everyone would go crazy. That would be an absurd thing to witness. The biggest trade we
I
could
think we
in recent memory.
I think we should make a deal. You might disagree, but we should let Sox like be a guest like for one episode if that happens.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We should do that
Okay.
if that were to happen.
A deal? Okay. So
Okay.
somehow the Bengals trade Jamar Ante to the New England Patriots. Sox, you get to be a guest on the next episode. You're entitled to it.
Very much entitled.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Uh-huh.
Good stuff.
All right. Anything else that we missed to talk about?
I don't think we mentioned Joey Bosa to the Buffalo Bills yet, have we?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, good move for the Bills, I'd say. I mean, seems to improve their defense. Um,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, that's. I mean, that. There's not
Little
much to say
surprising
about it, I
he didn't
guess.
little surprising he didn't join his brother. A little disappointing. That would have been cool, but
It came down to the
you
money.
know,
Buffalo paid him more than other teams reportedly wanted to, and
yeah, chase the
might as
money.
well.
Probably feels like he has a better chance at a ring
Oh,
in
definitely.
Buffalo than San Francisco. Yeah.
I mean, they were
So,
very close to a Super Bowl appearance last season. Adding another player on defense can only help them, right?
uh-huh. Right.
No, I like the move for Buffalo. You gotta try to win while you can, so make some moves.
For sure. Yup.
Yeah, we'll see if it's enough. We'll find out next season. Let's see, the Panthers, they signed Rico Dowdle. He was the Dallas Cowboys running back last season. He ran for over 1,000 yards. Once they finally gave him the starting job over Zeke Elliott, he was very, very good for them. And for whatever reason, he
Yeah,
did
no,
not
Rico
generate
is
much
good. Yeah,
interest. Yeah, you didn't hear a lot about him in free
right.
agency, and he was just kind of sitting there waiting. And then he signs with Carolina for not very much. I think it's up to 6 million
Yeah.
with incentives, but also it's just 3 million without the incentives. It's like, why couldn't Dallas have
Oh,
kept him? Because they've gone out and they signed Javante Williams. We talked about that a little bit last time. I think we that was the news we broke before Adam
yeah,
Schefter because we're just that good.
right.
Uh,
Yeah.
but then they also signed, for some random reason, they signed Miles Sanders last night. And I was having a good laugh at that because we just traded our backup running backs. The difference is their backup running back is Rico Dowdle, and he ran for 1,000 yards. Miles Sanders is more likely to run into his own linemen. So, I mean, I don't understand the moves by Dallas at all. As a Panthers fan who will tell you how his team is, Miles Sanders was terrible the past few years. You've probably seen me rant about him multiple times in the Discord server. It's not been pretty.
Yeah, didn't Miles just have like one good season in Philly or something like that, and suddenly he was like the second coming of Christ or something like that? But yeah, no, Miles
Yeah,
Sanders not that good.
he had a good
Um,
season in Philly behind that amazing offensive line, and then we signed him, and people liked the move. It made sense. And then our offensive line was terrible, and he was terrible, and we thought that might be the only reason why. Well, at least outsiders did. I saw him play and saw him run into his own lineman. I knew he was the problem. Um,
Uh-huh.
but then last season we had a top 10 offensive line, and he was still terrible when he had to come in and play. So did not get better.
Right.
He's not going to do
Yes.
anything in Dallas. But what I don't get is why
1,200.
they would
Yeah.
pay Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, but they won't pay Rico Dowdle.
I don't know.
It
I
didn't
mean, it's
cost
not like
much.
you can necessarily make the washed argument with like Rico because like both those other guys are like older. Because like I would get if they're just like gonna like develop a rookie or something, they think that Rico he's like 26 or something. So like
Yeah.
we as we all know like that's ancient for a running back. But then they sign Miles
But
Sanders.
it
Miles I think it's
obviously wasn't about him
27.
starting though, right? Rico didn't care about being the starter because he's going to come be the backup behind Chuba Hubbard, and it's only a 1 year thing. He's not here long term. So Dallas, if they
I don't
wanted to,
know.
they could have kept him for the same price and still drafted a running back.
Rico Dowell is older than Chuba Hubbard. I would not have thought that.
Yeah, Chuba's pretty young though. I think he's 25 or 26.
Yeah, I think I did look at Rico. So Rico, like, I think like got drafted like a few years ago, and just like injuries, and he was also behind. I guess he was behind Zeke for a while.
And then Tony
Um,
Pollard before he went to Tennessee.
right. Oh yeah, Tony Pollard, of course.
Yeah, last
So
season was really his
I don't
first
know.
featured look in an offense.
Right. Which I mean, you would think that like if you wanted to make the wash argument, you would also think that like he turns 27 in June. I didn't realize that. But
Okay.
he doesn't really have like a lot of like what you call it, just like mileage, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Yeah, not a lot of
like
mileage. He's only
it's
had
not like
one real season as a starter.
right. So you would think he's still gonna have a few more productive years. I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
that's
if it's just
very
if Dallas didn't want him back, it makes no sense. If it's that he didn't want to be in Dallas, I can see that. And you've seen Demarcus
what
Lawrence come out and trash the team. That was pretty funny. He's
yeah,
beefing with Micah
that was
Parsons.
fun. What a start the Cowboys are off to. Last year they were all in. This year,
They've made more
yeah,
moves this year than last year. To be fair, amazing.
yes,
They've done so
they did
well.
indeed. Super Bowl. Cowboys.
Oh
You
yeah,
you
this is their
predicting that
year,
again?
right?
Yeah,
What was that?
you predicting that again?
Oh, definitely not.
Cowboys Super Bowl?
I'm not. I'm not even putting them in the playoffs this year.
Nah, as you shouldn't.
Yeah, I don't believe in Dallas this year. Not at all. It's nope.
Right.
Nope. But we're a little bit
Yep.
away from making predictions. I'll wait till after the draft to do that. I want to see what everyone does.
Fair enough.
So yeah, some interesting backup running back moves. I don't really know why no one else wanted Rico Dowdle to be their starter for 1 year. Plenty of teams could have used
Yeah.
him. I mean, Denver needs a starting running back. they're not gonna get
Uh,
they're not gonna get Genty in the draft. Although I do think he's a Raider. I think he's going at 6 to the Raiders. I think Denver's probably getting the North Carolina
yeah.
running back, but still, like there are other teams that needed a running back. It's really
Yeah.
weird. There has to be more to these things that we just don't know, because we can break this down for as long as we want, but we've got to be missing something.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Running back is just like so like just such a complex like because I don't know because you get these like backup running backs getting like replaced and everything, and then you got guys like Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. He was good last season, right? Or am I misremembering that?
Derrick Henry, yeah, he was amazing last season.
Yeah, you got these like it's like you're either great and you're getting like all the extensions and stuff, or you're okay, you're younger, and then you're like you know, kicked to the curb at like 25 or whatever. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
running
It's
backs
such a
are weird in
complicated.
the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, are there any other moves that we've missed here? We got it all.
Yeah. I don't know. I think those are the main ones, obviously. I don't think we missed anything super obvious.
Nothing has happened since
Um
we've been live either. Figures.
Yeah, right.
Just, yep, just
Raheem
the usual.
Mostert is a Raider. Speaking of running backs,
Oh yeah, he's gonna be
he's
Ashton Genty's backup.
yep, good mentor for him at least.
No, that's a good running back. He's one of the rare running backs who made it past age 30 and is still productive.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. He was
I
like
don't think
good,
he.
like
Last
yeah,
season
he
was the
was
first
good.
season where he just wasn't good.
Right. Yeah, his stat line is like weird though, because he didn't play really he didn't really play his first like 5 years in the league, and then just got playing time. So I wonder if that could be like, just like the Rico Dowell thing, to where it's like, since he didn't get very much playing time his early years, he still has
He
like
can last a little
mileage.
bit
He's
longer.
still like going strong at 30. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He had a really good season 23, and then he was pretty good in 22. Um, as he got hurt in 21, 20 was okay, 19. Yeah, so
and back then he was
and
he was with the 49ers in that crowded backfield where they
right,
just took turns
yeah,
having
that's
big
true.
games.
Yeah, didn't Raheem Mostert have some insane NFC Championship game in
Yeah, against the
2019? I
Packers,
think.
he ran all over them.
Yes.
It's like
Right.
240
It was like
yards or
200
something.
yards and 4 touchdowns or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was absurd.
crazy. Yep.
Yeah, then he was pretty good in Miami for a couple seasons. Last season again, he just wasn't very good, but good for him signing a deal with the Raiders. He would have a chance to be productive in that offense.
Right. For sure.
Now, the Raiders are actually going to be kind of interesting with Geno Smith at quarterback. They got Brock Bowers at tight end. Jacoby Myers, I maintain he's a good wide receiver. Not your ideal wide receiver one, but when you've got Brock Bowers, that's okay. If you're gonna have Ashton Genty at running back, assuming that's the pick at 6, I mean, I like what they're doing there.
Yeah, for sure. Random question, not even necessarily football related, but I see in a lot of football posts. Do you know like why this like LeBron gif of him doing like this is suddenly like viral? Like, did that happen recently, or is it like just being on? Do you have any idea? Do you even know what I'm talking about?
So, like he's pretending to be scared.
Well, do you know what? So there's like a gif that like it's not pretending to be scared. I think it's more of like a whoa, whoa, whoa type of thing. Um, but it's under all these like comment section for like free agent signings, like
Huh.
cornerback whoever Kyrie Jackson signs a 1 year extension. Like whoa, 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 because like I think originally it was just for like I guess it was designed for like out of pocket stuff. So if like something crazy happened or someone said something like Kenny Pickett saying I'm a starter. I don't know. I think I was like a meme for that, but I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
why
guessing by
that
your
would be
laughing,
going around. I think that's an
you
older
know what
meme though.
Okay, yeah, because I've been seeing it pop up like a lot recently, but maybe it is older.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't understand these things. It's weird. The
Me
internet is
neither.
weird. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's see. One more thing. How would you grade the Texans' free agency so far?
It's a good question. We traded Tunzel. We signed or traded for CJ Gardner Johnson. Not in the same trade, but those were two separate trades.
That would have made more sense though.
We got some decent like receivers, like uh what's his name? Christian Kirk, Sky Moore. Didn't we get someone else, or is that
You
just
got
it as
Sky
far as
Moore.
like not Sky Moore, Justin Watson.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say I must have missed that.
Those like Chiefs like wide receiver twos, threes, they all just kind of like
Yeah.
they'll just kind of phase together. We got some other receiver, right? Or am I misremembering that?
Braxton Berrios.
I think that is who I was thinking about. Right. I mean, it's hard because you would say it's like you would probably make the grade. Well, I think trading Tunzel would like put the grade down, but it's also kind of like it kind of made sense, but it's not particularly a good move. Like
Right.
B minus, it was a B minus, maybe a B, because like we are saving for like CJ having to like pay him. We didn't sign anyone crazy, which is understandable. Um, I'd say B. I mean, we didn't do anything
Okay.
stupid, I don't think. We didn't
No,
like
that seems
overpay.
fair.
Like, yeah.
No,
What about
that
you
seems
and the
pretty fair.
Panthers? Yeah.
I'd give us an A. I think we fixed our defense. I think we can stop the run now. So, and our secondary was already
Yeah.
good. So like I think we're at least an average defense. And last season, an average defense gets us to probably 9 wins. So I'm happy. I think I'd give us an A.
Yeah. There we go. Our starting offensive line, by the way, just for if anyone is at all concerned. Like left tackle is Blake Fisher, not ideal. Left guard is Laken Tomlinson. Center is Jarrett Patterson. Right guard is Juice Scruggs, and right tackle Titus Howard. So still got some work to do, but hopefully we can be better. I don't know.
Well, you're
It'll be
definitely
tough
drafting somebody in the first round. Maybe the second round as well.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah, that would
yeah,
make sense.
that would be for the best. I guess there are probably still some offensive linemen out there in free agency, but I couldn't tell you who's still there. I know Carolina's not really looking into that, so I haven't really cared to look into that either. Um, but you still got time to fix your
Yeah,
offensive line, so CJ Stroud doesn't literally die next season.
right. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna do one last check, make sure we haven't missed any news. Well, nothing's happening. It's gonna be really fun when we end this and then they announce the Aaron Rodgers signing.
Yeah, that would just happen on like a Friday, like 8 p.m.
It would, wouldn't it? Uh,
Yep.
I do wonder how long he's gonna drag that out. I mean, people are complaining, but it's his right to do that. But he can take his time.
Mhm.
I don't think he should take too long. I think the team that gets him needs to know sooner rather than later that they're getting him, so they can start planning for the next season.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, like before we recorded, I was like, I don't think this is the first time Aaron Rodgers has done this. 'Cause I think there was like, remember he like there like he thought like he might get traded, he might not. I think this was before he got traded to New York. Maybe it was. There was some like Aaron Rodgers holding teams hostage is not a new phrase. I'm
It's a
I'm pretty
yearly
sure of that.
occurrence. It was like the Packers fans were always sick of it every year, and then he went to the Jets at
Yeah,
last.
right.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
imagine they
yeah.
loved it either. Is he gonna retire?
No,
Is he gonna get
probably not.
traded? Is he coming back? And then it was always, for a while, it was always, nope, he's coming back to Green Bay.
Yep. Good old Aaron Rodgers.
It's funny. It's way more interesting this time because there are so many more teams in the mix. In the past, it was always if he's traded, it's to the Jets. At least that's what it seemed like
Right.
when the trade talks were
Yeah.
serious. Um, and no one ever
He was
really
like
thought he was
Jets
going to
or
retire.
there was a year he was linked to the 49ers, I think. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
something like that.
and then they ended up with Purdy, or was that the year after his rookie season?
Yeah, I think that was 21, which is so I think they drafted Purdy the next year. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
that was
that was
still
after
Jimmy
Jimmy
G.
G. That's right, because they had a
Right.
perfect
Yeah.
team aside from Jimmy G, and they just needed a quarterback. It really is
Right.
a shame they never got more out of those teams. They were so good,
I
and they
know.
just
Yeah.
never figured it
It
out.
you yeah, you just can't imagine what Kyle Shanahan could do with like a top 10, top 5 quarterback. Like those teams would be insane.
Imagine if Brady had gone to the Niners. Probably glad that he didn't.
Yeah. That would have been yeah, no, Brady and Rodgers. Didn't they both like grow up 49ers fans?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And the 49ers had opportunities to get both of them, and that didn't
The
happen.
49ers could have drafted him, but they chose Alex Smith. I remember
Right.
that used to be a pretty big story. Not so much anymore,
Yes.
because Alex Smith is retired and Aaron Rodgers is probably retiring soon. But
That
still.
would be a big story because, like, if you're Aaron and you're projected to potentially be number one overall, but then you slide to like 28 or whatever he was, that would be like I did recently. By the way, just side note, I did watch the Aaron Rodgers documentary on
Mhm.
Netflix. It's called Enigma. It was interesting. I mean, I don't know, like I didn't necessarily learn anything like groundbreaking that we didn't already necessarily know. Just he's an interesting guy and just kind of went through his like, childhood and like, all the sagas or whatever. But yeah, talked about his ayahuasca stuff as well, which was fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. Interesting guy.
Yep,
That's definitely a way to
very
sum him up. He's very interesting.
right. Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, have you got anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. Um, no, I think we're all set.
All right. Well, I guess this is a good place to wrap it up then, since we've got no more topics, and don't think anyone is here right now either. So I'm guessing there's no Q&A
Yeah,
today. That's all right.
I don't think so. It's Friday night. People are probably actually, you know, living their lives.
Good for them. It must be nice.
Yep,
All right. Cool. Well, I guess if it's cool with you, this is a good place to call it then.
let's do it. Yep. We'll see you all next week. We'll just have to negotiate or just agree on a time. Um, yeah. Bye.
All right. Thanks everyone who showed up. We will see you guys next time, hopefully with some more groundbreaking news. Y'all take care.